On this edition of Roundabout You, we start a two-part series on the music connection between Eastern Kentucky and Nashville, Tennessee.
We will meet up with a couple of people who are trying to mine some musical gold out of the mountains of Eastern Kentucky.
And we'll talk to some young people who have already made their way to the Music City.
And finally, we'll get together with country music legend Tom T. Hall to talk about his musical roots in Eastern Kentucky. I'm Jim Carter.
And I'm Sarah Clark. Welcome to Roundabout You.
When Bernard Porter and Ken Carrier looked at the number of country music artists whose roots run deep in the mountains of Eastern Kentucky, they knew there was musical gold to be mined. There are thousands of musically talented people all throughout the world, and most of these people will never get the chance to be noticed. Ken Carrier, the chairman of the Country Music Corridor, and Bernard Porter, president of PCG Nashville, are doing what they can to help. Ken and Bernard are personally trying to find talent in the Eastern Kentucky area and help them get to Nashville to pursue their dreams in singing and songwriting. Bernard describes what the Country Music Highway Road to Fame is and what they're hoping to find with this competition.
The Country Music Highway Road to Fame will start in 2012, and it'll be an annual competition of us trying to find those superstars of tomorrow. There are no guarantees in this business, but the one thing we can try to achieve is to bring them the right introductions and help them make the right moves strategically so they get the attention they need, and who knows what can happen. But the talent competition will be for artists aged 13 to 26. We'll go through the audition process early in 2012. We'll get to a point where we have the finals, where we're going to pick the top 10. And there's going to be a pretty interesting twist when we get to the top 10. There's going to be opportunity even for the top 10 to go out and help promote for the next year. Just as Miss America is used for the next campaign, we plan on using those winners from 2012 to help promote the next season. And they're going to become the diplomats for the following class.
One of the reasons why Ken believes that they will find some of the next stars in the music industry is because of all the fantastic artists that have already come from that area.
The highway runs about 144 miles north-south on US 23, which actually is the National Scenic Byway. So if you start in the north, you have Billy Ray Cyrus. Then as you come south into Boyd County, you have the Judds. And then farther you go south, you hit Lawrence County, which is Ricky Skaggs, and actually Larry Cordell has just been recently added to that highway. And then you go farther south, you get to Johnson County. You get, of course, the famous Loretta Lynn, coal miner's daughter, Crystal Gale, and Hilo Brown, which is a bluegrass guy. He's not as known as well as the other ones, but in his time he was a very talented man. Then you go farther south, is Floyd County, where I'm from. That's not what it's famous for, though. And that's Dwight Yoakam. And then you go to Pike County, you have Patty Loveless. And then you go to Letcher County, and you've got Gary Stewart.
In addition, he thinks that this event is key to help out the talented artists in the area to give them a chance to move in the right direction in pursuit of their dream.
This is the real exciting part, is because we have so many talented people out there that really don't know what to do, where to go, who to talk to. You know, Nashville is still about a 5-hour drive from Eastern Kentucky, so it's really difficult for them to know. And of course, everybody knows there's a lot of talent, but really there's not a lot of organizers or managers or agents or anything to pull it together. So they're out there. We know a lot of people that are traveling here to Nashville often, coming to this area, trying to make a go of the business and trying to do whatever they can, and still there's a lot of dead ends. Even the people that live here, there's a lot of dead ends. So by establishing a major initiative, the Road to Fame, where there'll be an opportunity for the executives to see them, to evaluate them, to pull them into the right avenues that will help to progress their career. So it's a plug into the Nashville scene with the right people, and we're so excited to have Bernard Porter with PCG and his associates working with us, because we think it's a major coup. I mean, to be able to pull them aboard with us, we think we pulled off a real good one.
On top of wanting to help people along the music highway to give them the opportunity to become the next big star in the music industry, Bernard has another goal in mind with this competition.
What I hope that comes out of this, just as Detroit had Motown, and Seattle had the grunge rock sound. Getting back to what I was saying earlier, I think there's going to be a unique sound that comes from this area. So maybe there's a way eventually for us to bridge an opportunity of some type of collaboration between one of the labels in Nashville in that area where they create their own imprint label that's dealing specifically with those Kentucky artists. I'm not sure of this statistic right now, but I know that several years ago, as far as physical CD sales, that part of the world actually sold more than other areas of the country. And what's interesting about that is the population is not as big, which means those people are driven more to buy music, at least in the physical sense. So I think there's a lot of positives on trying to look at those artists, develop those artists, and give them that chance. So if I were a record executive, and I have been in the past, you know, I would be paying very close attention to this contest because there's a lot of the filtering work that's being done, and just you know, break it down to the top 10 and see what we've got.
With the connections of Ken Carrier and Bernard Porter, the Country Music Highway Road to Fame will look to make a giant impact on the music industry in 2012.
Many young people from Eastern Kentucky have already made their way to Nashville to try and make it big in the Music City. We had a chance to talk to a few of them along with their parents and hear about the challenges they face and the rewards of following their dreams. Eastern Kentucky and Highway 23 that runs through it has produced some amazing country music artists and is still doing so to this day. We were able to talk to some of the most recent talent that has come out of the Highway 23 area, Bronson Bush, a 16-year-old looking to make it big.
Well, here, you know, the big thing is riding with people and meeting new people, playing all kinds of places. Just I'm playing the Bluebird Sunday, places like that, and just playing out as much as you can. The biggest struggle, I mean, I don't know if it's even Eastern Kentucky as much as anywhere, is just finding people to meet, people that you can kind of surround yourself with and become friends with, and business partners and that kind of thing, just getting introduced to the whole thing. But once you do, you know, from then it's fairly easy. The first time I was ever on stage, I was 3 years old, and I know everyone says I was, you know, 6 months old on stage. No, I was 3 years old, and it was at church, and I decided to sing a Father's Day song. So I stood up there and held a hymn book like I knew how to read, and sang a song that I remembered. And that was kind of when I first was on the stage, but I think I realized I wanted to do it whenever I started picking up guitar around 6 or 7 years old. I was thinking this could be cool, you know, I could work and never work a day in my life. I do write, I do, and my songs are pretty much, you know, I like to write in the perspective of the audience rather than myself. I kind of like to write about experiences that everyone can relate to, which I know everyone aims for, but I like to say I do it, you know. But that's kind of my songs. My songs are certainly from the heart. And, you know, I mean everything that I sing, and I would never sing something that I don't mean, so.
These young music artists wouldn't be where they are today without the help of their parents. Lori Bush, Bronson's mother, tells us what it's like being a music artist parent.
It's very fulfilling because I get to watch him and be a part of him living his dream. And he started at such a young age. He was like only probably 4 when he knew this is what he wanted to do. So I've got a little bonus because we've been doing it for so long. So it's been a bonus. He's got such a talent. But his biggest talent is that he loves people, and getting to watch him talk to people, and it's just unbelievable, and I'm so proud. I help him because my family helps me and my friends. I mean, it's not just, it's a group effort. It's a daily group effort. You know, we have people that help from things taking care of our pets, taking care of things at home that we have to do, and not only that, I have a job. Very demanding job, so they've been very supportive, and it's just a community effect. It's everybody in the community is involved, honestly. When he was probably 6 years old, we just decided, I've always loved Nashville, and I love Tennessee, and we just came in and we said we're going to take him and let him see, because he's been performing around home and he won a couple local contests. So we actually pulled in and got some brochures just like everybody else does. You know, we went to the convention center. And she said, so what are you doing here, young man? And he said, I want to sing. And she said, well, sing. So he just started singing right there in the convention center, and actually had people come around and just listen to him. And that just started it. That opened it up, you know. So after that, we were in Nashville probably at least once a month, and now it's about 3 times a month.
Some music artists are in it for the fame and fortune, but Lori reminds us that her son is in it purely for passion of music and the desire to sing.
I just hope he stays as genuine and as good as he is right now. He's just a good boy. He's a good student, he's a good grandson, he's a good son. And it's really not about, he'll tell you, it's not about the fame and the fortune. It's about being with people. And I think that's one thing that's different about the people from Eastern Kentucky. There's just a love that everybody has for each other and for our area. And he just wants to perform and be happy and play music. He'll be somewhere on the stage. Trust me on that.
Stacey Carrier is from Eastern Kentucky and has been able to join PCG in Nashville to further her dream of finding a job in the music industry. Stacey started writing poems at a young age, and that has developed into songwriting based on personal experiences.
When I'm in Nashville, let's see, I'm usually in Nashville, I have a show perhaps, or I'm working with PCG Nashville, I'm an intern there. I have a band here now, and so we can rehearse and co-writes and all sorts of good stuff. Ideally, all I really want to do is write music and make a living being able to do that. And that's my goal. I don't have to be some super famous megastar, but as long as I can make a comfortable living writing music and doing what I love, then that's my dream. This is a wonderful thing because in the school systems and where I was from, there was no music at all. And to bring music to this area where I grew up having no music and having other people be able to experience that is like a dream come true.
Stacey's mom, Angie, was with Stacey on our latest trip to Nashville. She was able to share with us how important and exciting it was to see her little girl move up in the music business in regards to Highway 23.
It is so much fun because Stacey actually has been singing and been on stage since she was 6 years old. And to see her do that at home is a lot of fun, but to see her actually do it on stage in front of all these people is totally amazing. I would really and truly like to see her be a positive role model for young girls by her being in the music industry, because there's so much out there that's not a positive. So I would like to see her do that. So be somebody that these young girls can look up to and see that it's okay to have good morals. It is very, very difficult to break into the Nashville scene. It is really hard because you can come down here and play your heart out at venues and the right people are probably not going to hear you. But that's why we're working on this initiative with the Country Music Highway to bring Nashville there so that they can see what kind of talent we have in our region, so that we don't have to come here. They can come to us. There's so much talent, and it's really, really sad because actually there's hardly any music in the schools in Eastern Kentucky anymore. There's hardly any band, there's hardly any choirs. So when they get music, it has to be outside of the schools, like at the Mountain Arts Center in Prestonsburg, or just passing along the musical heritage from grandfather to father to son.
Angie also let us in on how Stacey made connections and met the right people.
A few years ago, my husband put on a show at the Mountain Arts Center in Prestonsburg called Stars Shine Bright, and he brought in Nashville executives to do that show and to just to show them what kind of talent we have on the Country Music Highway. And Bernard Porter was one of the executives that came in. So when Stacey got a little bit older and she started writing music and wanting to actually go that direction with her career, we contacted Bernard, and he is our contact here in Nashville.
The Country Music Highway Road to Fame was developed to help locals of Eastern Kentucky be recognized by the Nashville scene so these students can be heard by the right people and make music history. Country music star Brittany Taylor grew up in Knott County, located in Eastern Kentucky. She picked up her boots to move where she could further her career, and for the last 5 years, Brittany has lived in Nashville, Tennessee. Brittany's mom, Lois Hamilton, shares her daughter's story of entertaining at a young age.
At the age of 7, she started singing at the Mountain Arts in Prestonsburg, Kentucky. At the age of 17, she decided to go to school here, and she's been independent on her own since then, and we've just had to support her. And we were in hopes that in December, after she graduated, that she would come back to Knott County, but she's not leaving Nashville.
Brittany is not leaving Nashville in hopes of landing a publishing deal. She got her degree in the recording industry from Middle Tennessee State University.
The first 3 years were mainly going to school and getting a degree in music business because I wanted to know when somebody was coming at me with something crazy and and to somebody to stay away from. So I did go to school and get my education first. But after that, I sang while I was going to school, but I'm hitting it as hard as I can now that I'm out.
She grew up listening to 80s rock and roll and bluegrass, which was her grandfather's favorite kind of music. This mixed musical experience has influenced her songs not only as a writer, but as a singer as well.
It's really about the song, the writing and the lyrics and the way that it makes you feel and the way that it makes other people feel. I just think it's a universal language and I think you can touch everybody with it, and that's why I do it.
Finding a career in the music industry is no easy task. Luckily, Brittany found a group of young musicians she enjoys performing with. They call themselves Tumbleweed. The 5 talented musicians perform at different venues, hoping to get the attention of the crowd.
It's so hard because you have to be in it. You have to be where those people are and where the business is, and you have to have your face seen over and over and over again. So these people just start recognizing you, and then it's just a matter of luck and talent also, but a lot of luck after that, I think.
For a dream like Brittany's to come true, it helped to have the deep Eastern Kentucky roots and a lot of family support along the way. Lois encourages families to help their children to follow their dreams.
If your child's dream is to come to Nashville and try it, please allow them to go for it, because there are so many kids back home who are so talented and they're afraid to leave. But if they're willing to leave and this is their dream, I would hate to be a parent and hold my child back from their dream.
The next time you're in Nashville, Tennessee, be sure to check out Brittany and the Tumbleweeds. Tom T. Hall is one of country music's icons and is an artist whose Eastern Kentucky roots helped him form his musical style. On a recent trip to Nashville, I had a chance to talk to Hall about his humble beginnings and why Eastern Kentucky seems to be a hotbed for great country artists.
Well, you run into a lot of small towns where you have to drive up a hill to get into it and up a hill to get out of it. I was born in Olive Hill, Kentucky, right? If you get to go there, it's in a valley. I don't know why we call it Olive Hill, and it's in a valley and it's surrounded by hills. And there's not an olive tree within 1,000 miles. So you'll run into a lot of wonderful people and beautiful scenery and narrow roads and if you meet the right people, you hear a lot of interesting stories. Well, I've traveled that highway a lot in my youth, and I lived on it, you know. That's the way we got to cross the river into Ohio, and back in the mountains to see Ricky and Keith and the Everly Brothers, Merle Travis. The list goes on and on. A lot of talent came out of those hills back there. I could go on forever. You couldn't get them all in this room here, I'll tell you that. We, in the early days, of course, we didn't have radio, television, and storytelling was a big art, and music was a big entertainment. And since we had no electricity, it became acoustic music back in Appalachia, and which is a great kind of music. You can take it out under a tree or out around a campfire or into a building or whatever. So bluegrass music thrived there. Well, of course, it was born there. Well, that's a great kind of music too. It's the way I started with, you know, with the bluegrass band. If you don't know where you came from and you have no understanding of your own culture, you're at a disadvantage when you enter other cultures, because then you suddenly start to realize the difference. I know when I moved out of Eastern Kentucky, I was very proud of my, heritage and the people I grew up with, and I knew a lot of wonderful people, and I lived in a beautiful country. You know, as a child, I would sneak out the window in the morning. We slept with it open, and I just put on my, jeans, t-shirt, and some sneakers, and out the window and go fishing. And nobody ever asked, "Where's my other kid?" You know, you could be gone all day. What could happen to you just roaming around in the woods? So I grew up like that. And then as I traveled around the world and encountered other cultures, I felt that the world has more in common than it does in difference. You know, we're all interested in being happy and being in and out of the cold and out of the rain, and having our health. And so it's important to know where you came from.
The fact that so many great music talents hail from Eastern Kentucky does not come as a surprise to the local residents. In fact, they have worked hard to not only promote their local music heritage, they're also continuing to create musical venues to give future generations a chance to shine. Eastern Kentucky is not only known for the country music highway, it's also a vacation destination. It has unique tourist attractions with rolling hills, deep hollers, and beautiful mountains. This is an adventure tourism stop.
Through the natural resources that we have, we are taking a major effort to promote to visitors and vacationers adventure tourism or outdoor recreation, which involves everything from camping to hiking, water trails, canoeing, kayaking, and like I say, the wildlife watching is a tremendous facet of what we have here, and very few people would believe that beginning something like 12 years ago, the Department of Fish and Wildlife transported about 100 elk from out west, and that plus some more relocation efforts, we have anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 western elk. So it provides a great opportunity for people to come and watch that. We have shuttles that go out many days out of the year to see these marvelous creatures in the wild. And also the trails programs, and we call that everything from hiking to bicycling. We're not known necessarily as having an industry associated with the horse, but we have thousands of saddlebred and western horses in the area. People ride them, they travel all over the place, and people come here for horse shows and trail rides. So we're developing these multi-distance trails throughout Dewey Lake and Jenny Wiley and throughout the counties around East Kentucky for horseback riding, and it is really taking off very well.
Eastern Kentucky has a rich cultural heritage that dates back hundreds of years. The emphasis, though, is on the special music history that's unique to this region.
Well, it's extraordinary because it was actually begun somewhere in the late 1700s through the migration of many people on the eastern seaboard seeking a new life and a life of their own. Many of these that settled in East Kentucky are Irish Scot backgrounds and of heritage. So what they did, they brought what limited numbers of instruments and types of musical instruments, but they came here because they were used to the Highlands of Scotland. So as they came here, they saw a certain association with their homeland and created their, I guess, their society of the Highlands of America, rich as the Highlands of England and Scotland. So they brought with them their musical instruments, they brought with them their heritage. Now, once they were here is the beginning of what we refer to as our cultural and heritage music that has existed for all these years. So with that music, what did they do? Well, they didn't live 25 feet from a neighbor. They might live 20 miles, or they might live up the holler, that very limited numbers of people are here. So their means of transportation was very limited. And they didn't go to Cincinnati, they didn't go to Lexington or to Nashville for music entertainment. They made their own. So that became really the basis for what has really happened here. And that has been the Saturday night front porch picking or back porch or under the shade tree. So what happened, the little children learned to listen, enjoy, and then later became quite accomplished themselves. And that's been happening since 1800 here.
Music is an important aspect in everyday life in Eastern Kentucky.
When you see people, let's start with Loretta Lynn, that achieved the success that she has many, many years ago, but then when you look at people like Garth Brooks, you know, to bring it forward several years, and now you look at Carrie Underwood, those are huge, huge personalities in the music industry. So those are the idols, those are the people that they are looking to. But Ray Sayer also said yesterday, I didn't have that I made it moment. He said, I'm a working musician. And for him, he has achieved his success by being able to say, I'm a working musician. You know, a lot of our kids go to Nashville and they're playing in bars every night or every other night just to make a living. But what they want to be is a working musician.
As we wrap up this week's show, we'd like you to enjoy some of the talented musicians we met in Nashville. We also want to remind you to tune in next week as we travel to Eastern Kentucky to find out firsthand why this part of the state is well known for country music gold.
Really hung out with before. There was nowhere I could go but right around you.
Long I was tracked down, wouldn't claim my own right. Blanket underneath stars, gonna sleep in each other's arms. It's me, it's just us. Nothing but it's really simple enough.
The river looks nice, I think I'll jump on in and save myself from the heat of the day.
Be sure to keep up with us and visit our website at roundaboutyou.com.
There you will also find links to follow us on Facebook and Twitter,
where we'll post pictures and videos to keep everyone updated. I'm Jim Carter.
And I'm Sarah Clark. Thanks for watching Roundabout You.